I hear that Huawei store staff are facing the biggest challenge of their careers lately, which is remembering who the 7 members of Teens in Times are. As a popcorn fan in the tech world today, I'm going to put them to the test. Why don't see your bid as well as some choice?
If you can answer that, I won't buy the Pro, I'll buy the Ultra.
Song Yaksuan, Majaki is team leader, and that one named Song Hao Yu, right? He Jun Lin.
Look, Teens in Times, we love you. And the clerk also said that if I'm a fan of the group, they could give me a gift pack worth 1,000 yuan on the second-hand market. Okay, now that I've got it, let's see what's inside this 1,000 yuan gift pack. I checked, and the actual price should be around 200 yuan.
First, open the lid, and the first thing you see is the standee of Teens in Times. You probably can't name them all, but as a veteran fan, I can recognize every one of them. Let me introduce them to you from left to right. Yan Haoxiang, Ding Chengxin, Liu Yaowen, Majaki, Zhang Zhenyuan, Song Yaxuan, and finally He Junlin. Those are the names of the 7 members, so make sure you don't get them wrong. Moving on, the gift box is drawer style. Once you lift the top lid, inside are many postcards of them, both individual and group photos. I have to say, the members of Teens in Times are really good looking. Next, this appears to be a concert ticket stub for Teens in Times. It is quite exquisitely made, very bling bling. The small box in the top right corner contains this film strip. Pull it out and you will see their individual portraits. And then let's look at the drawer below. First up, there is a Nova series water cup. It looks quite good and the quality is excellent. There is a phone lanyard and also this Teens in Times co-branded phone case. This is actually quite nice. Do you think this gift box worth 200 yuan is worth it?
Next, let's take a look at the phone. The color we bought this time is called Clear Sky Blue. Its back panel can show a silk-like texture from different angles. The official statement says they added something like mother-of-pearl powder inside. As for the camera module design, the circle on the right was hollow in the previous generation, but it's been changed to solid in this one. This change makes it look even more like the Wall-E phone we did before. Now, this Nova 16 Pro is, in my opinion, the best value in the 16 series. Compared to the standard Z series, it features a metal frame and doesn't use the mid-range Kirin processor. It uses the same Kirin 9010S as the 16 Ultra. And in terms of camera specs, it's basically the same as the 16 Ultra. Okay, now we're ready to take it apart and see what the internal components are really like. Without further ado, let's get right to the teardown. First, place the phone on a heating pad for 2.5 minutes. Then use alcohol and a prying tool to open the back cover. It's surprising how tight this IP65 adhesive is. The Pro is IP65, while the Ultra is IP68, 69. The back cover is made of glass, which is a great touch. You can see the NFC coil integrated into the back, though it is positioned a bit low. I have checked the material of the camera module and it appears to be a composite material. Okay, now let us look at the internal structural design. On a scale of 1 to 10, what score would you give it? As always, the level of internal customization in Huawei phones remains very high. Let us remove the motherboard cover first. Well, just as I mentioned, the high level of customization, it gave me a bit of a challenge right away. The motherboard cover is split into 4 pieces, which is quite something. The larger component on top appears to be an all-metal in-case top speaker from AAC Technologies, which is Audio Vivid certified. The speaker has an irregular shape, but it should be an 11-15 size. Moving to the middle section, the level of integration is quite high. You can see that this small cover plate integrates the laser focus module, the iris camera, the single color temperature flash, and a flicker sensor. This sensor helps you avoid flickering when taking photos under artificial lights. Underneath the motherboard is a layer of graphene cooling. The Pro model lacks wireless charging, whereas the Ultra supports 50-watt wireless charging. It is quite strictly tiered. In contrast, we have the camera module, so let us take that apart. The configuration gap with the 16 Ultra is actually not that big, which is really quite impressive for the 3,000 to 4,000 price range. First, the main camera is a 200 megapixel 1.28-inch RYYB sensor that supports optical and artificial intelligence image stabilization, and this inverted periscope telephoto lens is 50 megapixels, supporting 3.7 times optical zoom and 100 times digital zoom. It is also an RYYB sensor. The ultra-wide lens is a 50 megapixel camera that supports 2.5 cm super macro shots. Combined with the iris camera on the motherboard cover I mentioned earlier, this whole setup is incredibly powerful. The front-facing camera is even more impressive, featuring a dual lens design. The front iris camera ensures accurate skin tones and ambient lighting for selfies, but I won't go into too much detail on that. The main camera is an incredibly impressive 1/2.51-inch 50 megapixel large sensor front lens, and I really can't find any other phone that can compete with it in terms of selfies. The only difference in the imaging configuration compared to the 16 Ultra is that its ultra-wide lens uses an RYYB sensor, while the Pro uses a standard RGGB one. That's the only difference. Looking at the entire camera setup, the 16 Pro is actually very cost-effective. Most people probably won't even notice the slight differences compared to the Ultra. Besides, if you are really after camera performance, the Ultra is already selling for 4,699. At that price, you could even get the previous generation Puro 80 Ultra's camera system. With its dual lens setup, it is definitely more than a tier above this one. A phone that originally cost 9,999 is dropping in price quite fast. I checked, and the resale price on Juan is only around 4,500. It's not just at this price point. It's hard to find a phone with such powerful imaging at any price right now, and Juan's second-hand phones are actually quite reliable. Now let's go ahead and remove the motherboard. From the side, you can see that the motherboard uses a dual-layer design where the system-on-chip core generates heat.
The processor is a hand-me-down from the previous
The Kirin 9010S processor, paired with Harmony OS Next, ensures perfectly smooth daily performance. There is another difference between the 16 Pro and 16 Ultra motherboards. The 16 Ultra supports both Tiantong and Beidou satellite communications, while the 16 Pro only supports Beidou. But then again, at this price point of over 3,000, I really cannot find another brand besides Huawei that offers satellite communication. And underneath the motherboard, you can see that the areas for the system on a chip heat and the main camera have been designed with cutouts in the middle frame for direct vapor chamber contact, which is very beneficial for heat dissipation. Now let's move on to the middle section. This yellow ribbon cable connects to the side-mounted fingerprint sensor. The entire Nova 16 series uses this side-mounted fingerprint unlock, and in our test, the unlocking speed is actually very fast. And it has another benefit. The side fingerprint sensor can also serve as a camera shortcut. You see, double tap to quickly launch the camera, swipe up to zoom in, swipe down to zoom out, and long press to lock focus and exposure. It is truly very convenient to use. As for the battery, it uses a 7000 mAh ultra-large battery. Huawei's phone battery capacities have really caught up this year.
Personally, this is I think users today rarely suffer from performance anxiety. It's more about battery anxiety. With Huawei's Kirin chip paired with this large battery, I saw online that after 9 hours of screen on time, it still had 18% left. That is truly ridiculously powerful. And there is another small detail. As you can see, on top of this battery, there is a small metal contact. Those who know will recognize it. It likely uses the same electrolytic battery adhesive as the iPhone. You just need to connect 9 volts of direct current, wait 90 seconds, and the battery adhesive will automatically melt, and the battery will come right off, just like on an Apple device. As for the battery manufacturer this time, it doesn't list companies like Guangxin Nengde. It simply says Huawei Device Company Limited. It uses a single-cell dual-port design, which allows for faster charging and a longer lifespan. Next, we remove the metal cover for the charging port, which is quite solidly built. After removing the subboard, we can see the charging port supports 100-watt wired fast charging with a USB 2.0 transfer speed. Okay, removing the SIM tray, it uses a horizontal design to save internal space, which leaves more room for the battery. Removing the bottom speaker, the supplier is different from the top one. It uses a full metal encapsulated speaker from Goertek. It has a custom shaped housing, but a quick measurement with calipers shows it is roughly an 11-15 size. You can certainly trust the speakers in these last 2 Huawei generations. Okay, that is the internal structure of the Nova 16 Pro. It is fair to say the value for money is very high. So, at the same price point of 3,000 to 4,000, would you choose the recently released Xiaomi 17 Max or the Huawei Nova 16 series? Let me know in the comments.